Ngoja kwanza nisongeze hii meza. Wewe.
Kuna nini?
Wewe. Inuka.
Ala.
Ngoja kwanza.
Si umenikumbatia sasa hivi hapa. Kwani natokea nini tena?
Ojwang, mimi nakwambia hivi, uwezi nichezea hata dakika moja wewe. Unakwenda kuletea sukuma wiki kineso.
He made the whole nation laugh. Every Sunday evening, families would gather around black and white TV sets, waiting for Vitimbi. He was the man with the funny accent, the wild facial expressions, and the loud laugh that could make even your grandmother chuckle.
Mama.
Yes.
Mambo mengine hata afadhali tu muyefanyie.
Habari zenu. Si mzuri. Unajua afadhali tuongee ukweli.
Yes.
Leo si mzuri.
But behind the laughter was a man struggling, a man who gave everything to comedy only to die feeling abandoned and forgotten. This is the heartbreaking story of Mzee Ojwang, Kenya's comedy legend who died poor despite making millions laugh for decades. If you grew up in Kenya during the 80s or 90s, you knew Mzee Ojwang. His real name was Benson Wandau. He was the grumpy old man with that flat cape, suspenders, and quick temper, always shouting at Mama Kayai, played by Mary Kavere. He wasn't just a comedian, he was Kenyan culture. He represented our uncles, our fathers, our neighbors, strict but funny, tough but caring. And back then, Vitimbi wasn't just a TV show, it was a ritual. Every home, rich or poor, tuned in. When Mzee Ojwang appeared on screen, laughter filled living rooms across Kenya. He was our laughter therapist.
Wacha nikufikishia hapa nirudi.
Sina kwenda na wewe.
Sasa tukishaenda na wewe mwenyewe ulialika wageni nyumbani. Nani ataendelesha kazi? Kwa lazima kazi iendelee.
Hapo ni kweli.
Si ndio?
Unajua?
But few knew that behind the camera, Mzee Ojwang's life was far from funny. Benson Wandau was born in 1937 in Nyeri County, Central Kenya. He grew up during colonial times when opportunities were scarce for young African boys. He didn't come from a wealthy family, no silver spoon, just raw talent, a big heart, and a deep love for performance. In his youth, he moved to Nairobi, working small jobs, singing in choirs, and occasionally performing at church events. But it was his ability to mimic accents Luo, Kikuyu, Luya, and Kamba that set him apart. People laughed not at him, but with him. That is when the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation noticed him. A young, hilarious man who could act like an old, grumpy husband and make the whole country laugh.
Hapana, hapa kunaonekana pana maneno. Kia Ojwang, tukuona wewe na Ngomongo moja kwa moja mwende mpaka hotelini. Mwende mkajua hii habari ya kuku inaendeleaje. Manake mimi nashangaa Ngomongo. Hawa watu wametoka hapo wamesema wamekuja kwako wakanunua kuku. Wewe ukawanyang'anya ukachukua kuku ukapeleka kwa daktari.
Mimi sijaonana na hii watu.
Hebu tokeni mwende. Nendeni.
Fanya namna hii.
In the 1970s, Kenya's entertainment scene was just taking shape. There were no YouTubers, no TikTokers, no stand-up shows at malls, just government-run television. And that is where Vitimbi was born. Created as a local sitcom showcasing everyday Kenyan life, the show became an instant hit. Mzee Ojwang played the stubborn, overprotective husband, Mama Kayai the loving but sharp-tongued wife. Their chemistry was unmatched. They fought, they joked, they danced, just like every real couple we knew.
Mimi nakwambia hivi, uwezi nichezea hata dakika moja wewe. Unakwenda kuletea sukuma wiki kineso sukuma wiki ni nani? Ni nani mbele yangu?
Hapana.
Nakwambia hivi, kwa nini kuniletea polisi unakwenda kuletea kineso sukuma wiki? Wewe ni nani?
For years, the duo became the face of Kenyan comedy. They performed for presidents, traveled across East Africa, and even entertained foreign dignitaries at State House. But despite his fame, Mzee Ojwang was not getting rich. For decades, Mzee Ojwang made millions laugh, but the irony was cruel. He never made millions of shillings. He once revealed in interviews that for years, they were paid small allowances, not real salaries. Back then, artists didn't have contracts, royalties, or benefits. They performed out of passion. While TV bosses and producers made money, Ojwang and his fellow actors went home with just bus fare. Imagine that man who made Kenya laugh couldn't even afford a decent house, and yet he never stopped performing because comedy was his calling. He believed laughter could heal a nation, even when he himself was hurting inside. As years passed, new faces began to dominate television. Shows like Vioja Mahakamani, Ridiculous, and later Churchill Show took center stage. Mzee Ojwang's generation was slowly being pushed aside. The once beloved star was no longer invited to major shows. He had become a forgotten name in the very industry he helped build. By 2010, Ojwang was struggling financially. He lived in a small apartment in Nairobi estate, depending on occasional performances and the goodwill of fans. In one interview, he said, "Watu walicheka sana, lakini mimi nalia ndani." Those words still haunt Kenyan hearts today. Around 2014, reports began to emerge. Mzee Ojwang was unwell. He had developed serious eye problems that threatened his sight. He couldn't see properly, and without money for treatment, his condition worsened. For months, no one came to his aid. Not the government, not the broadcasters he served, not even the institutions he helped make famous, until social media outrage forced attention. People began to ask, how can a national treasure be left to suffer alone? Finally, President Uhuru Kenyatta intervened. Mzee Ojwang was flown to hospital and treated at the Nairobi Eye Hospital. For a brief moment, it looked like the legend will recover, but fate had other plans. In July 2015, Kenya woke up to heartbreaking news. He died at Kenyatta National Hospital after battling pneumonia. The man who had made generations laugh had taken his final bow. He was 78 years old. His death exposed something deeper, the harsh reality of Kenya's entertainment industry, a system that celebrates artists while they are shining and forgets them once the lights go out. At his funeral, Mama Kayai, his on-screen wife, wept as she said, "We worked for the nation, but the nation forgot us." Mzee Ojwang's story is not just about comedy, it's about sacrifice. He built the foundation of Kenya's entertainment industry. He proved that laughter could unite a nation. But his suffering reminds us of a painful truth, that talent alone is not enough. Artists need protection, contracts, healthcare, and respect. Today, a new generation of comedians is thriving, performing online, earning through YouTube, endorsements, and brand deals. But they stand on the shoulders of pioneers like Mzee Ojwang. We must never forget him, because behind every laugh we share was a man who gave his all and asked for nothing in return.